Hello guys, hello Sir Grandalot here. I'm making a video to update all my characters' builds. Video will take a while. I will try to go through each of my characters. Not all of them are well built and some of them share artifacts. This is a common disclaimer that I have to do every time that I make this kind of video. Now let's go with the newest addition when Ayaka. I always play her with Missplitter Reforge unless I'm doing some meme builds. These are the artifacts I'm using for her. For Blizzardstrayer, if you've seen my videos at the very beginning of my career with Ayaka, I was using 4 pieces of Emblem of Sarah the Fate, but at the end the RNG gods decided to bless me with a decent Blizzardstrayer set. Disclaimer, this crit rate looks a little bit low, but if you add 15 of Cryo Resonance, 20 of the Blizzardstrayer set, and 15% crit rate from Mona, because I recently got a constellation for Mona, this turns out to be 81.4% on characters affected by Cryo and above 100% on frozen targets, which I find more than enough under all circumstances. If I'm not using Mona, I will often switch her to a crit rate head with high crit damage. Decent amount of energy recharge. I will show the artifacts one by one. I could actually go a little bit higher in terms of damage output, going above 300% crit damage and basically having the same attack, but she would lose out basically all the energy recharge, and that's not an option. Moving forward, Shenhe, glorious Shenhe. She's on Skyward Spine unless I'm not using Raiden, in which case she's with this weapon, which is a lot better for her. She's one of my most beloved characters, because I was planning to skip her and then I started to playtest several teams that I could use with her in my head, and then I ran her trial several times and I just decided that she was way too valuable. With all the cryo characters, she's just amazing. On her rerun, unless the weapon banner turns out to be utter garbage, I will definitely pull for her signature weapon. And I really regret not pulling for her signature weapon the very first time, because it had a pretty decent banner. She's currently on double crown. I will not touch the attack, she will stay like this. And I also have a good set for her just with noblesse pieces. So attack, and 2 whatever pieces, all with a lot of energy recharge. Well, she loses a little bit of attack, like her own personal attack with that build, but the 20% buff from noblesse in some teams can be very valuable. I don't play Ganyu that much. I often mention this. I got a bit burned out playing almost exclusively her at the very beginning as my only carry, and I want to wait building her properly until one day the game will decide that I'm worthy of getting an Amos bow for her. So all of this is a little bit low. The day that I will finally get Amos bow, she will go 10, I don't know, maybe 8 and 10, but for the time being, considering how rarely I play her, she's going to stay like this. Barbara, I have plans to build her, because I have a very good Ocean Hook Lamb set. Sometimes I play her in meme teams, every now and then in Abyss runs, but not right now. Albedo, nothing has changed from previous builds. 4 pieces husk with very questionable substats. If I run Genshin Optimizer, it tells me that I should not bother with my husk pieces and I should just give him a rainbow set and it's going to be better for him. But other characters need more pieces more than him. He performs very well just as he is. Very good character. Kazuha, nothing has changed. Signature weapon, triple EM, a lot of elemental mastery on Feather and Plume. The worst rolled artifact that I ever got, because 2 perfect substats and 2 wrong substats, like, come on, really. And this piece is amazing. The only saving grace of this is that it's an on-set goblet and it allows me to roll something else. I would really like to get his Constellation 2 on his imminent rerun in the 2.8, but it's going to be tough, because using Primogems for a Constellation of a character that I already have right before a new region with new characters and new element, I will have to do some soul searching for that. Jean, don't play her a lot, but I play her reasonably often. She's usually with this or with this, depending on what's available for her. Artifact depends how I'm playing her. She's usually on 4 pieces, Viridescent Venerer, whatever I have available. Or sometimes 2 Venerer, 2 Gladiator, but honestly she's usually on 4 Viridescent Venerer. Got another constellation recently, which is nice. Eventually, one day I will get this one, and Xiao will be very happy. Talents are like this. Raiden, surprising stats. Very, very surprising stats. The reason why... Wait a moment. Let's give her proper weapon first, and then we can talk about her stats. It looks like a downgrade to compared to what I had previously. But what happened is that I ran Genshin Optimizer recently because I got some new artifacts overall. In general, like both from Emblem Severed Fate pieces, as well as some Electro Goblet. And Genshin Optimizer tells me that even though I have very low crit damage with this build, because I am only at like, what is it, 118? Yeah, 118. The fact that I have very high crit rate, and then she generates a ton of attack by herself, makes up for it, and the average damage output of this build is actually much better of the build that I had previously, which looked more like this. Like, if we just had a look at the stats, this looks much better. Right, I mean 61, 159 GG, right? But when it comes to average damage output, this one is actually a little bit better. And I was shocked, but all the numbers were correct in Genshin Optimizer. Constellation 4, and she's like this. Hu Tao, nothing has changed for her. She's not on Dragonbane. She is on Staff of Homa. Artifacts, sometimes I play her with 4 pieces, Crimson Witch. Sometimes I play her with 4 pieces. What's the other thing? Shimenawa. She performs absolutely fine in both builds. It can be this one with high crit rate, slightly questionable crit damage, or higher crit damage. She performs extremely well no matter what. Like, the difference between all the builds that I can give her are very limited. And Triple Crown, she's my only Triple Crown character. Hello, Hu Tao. Yunjin, I play almost exclusively with Noelle or Yomiya, one or the other. She's always not really with deathmatch. In theory, deathmatch would be better for her own buff, but whatever. I tend to always give her Favonius, especially when she's with Noelle, because Noelle needs energy recharge. 4 pieces ask with defense, defense, and as much defense and energy recharge as I could possibly find for her. Constellation 6, talents are like this. Then we go to Noelle. Noelle got an upgrade recently, although it has a little bit of a question mark. Now, if we go to her talents, we will see this, which is very, very nice when it comes to the crit rate, crit damage balance. And her overall stats are absolutely amazing. I love the stats of my Noelle. I mean, 77 to 20. The problem is this. No energy recharge at all. In a full team of characters that just exist to give her energy, it's fine. But in theory, I should lower a bit these things and use artifacts that have more energy recharge, but I'm happy as it is. Constellation 6, of course. Crown, level 9. Breastplate is not that important. Bennett is absolutely absurd. Not my Bennett in particular, I mean Bennett in general. These are his stats. I don't really play him with this. I usually give him either Aquila Favone or Skyward Blade, but I tend to prefer Skyward Blade because then he generates so much energy that his burst is available all the time and he helps the rest of the team as well. Artifacts, he should be on 4 Noblesse. We are missing something. Probably this one, yeah. I guess, I don't know, I could give him a random one, really. Because I have a lot of good pieces from this set that I could give him with either hit point or energy recharge, and they all work fine for him. Constellation 6, his Constellation 6 is great, so don't join the meme of, oh no, it will ruin my Eula. Do you even have Eula? No, then what the fuck? There's very few characters who are ruined by this thing. Most characters are neutral, some benefit, and just a very limited amount of characters don't like his Constellation 6, so plan accordingly, but the benefits are great. Talents are like this. I should level up these, honestly, but it's just so expensive for what it is. Crown the Burst, of course. Venti, we have just been through the endless patch that was designed for Venti in the Abyss, so I planned him a little bit more than usual, just for the sake of doing things quicker, but he's not a character that I play very much. I mention this very often during my streams, that I don't find him very valuable. He's very valuable when you're killing Hilichurls on the map, or clearing domains that you could solo with a lot of characters, and I definitely regret pulling for him. Definitely. Geodaddy. Geodaddy is slowly marching towards level 95, just killing stuff on the map, because when I'm going on mining expedition or on killing elites, he's always there to help me with his shield and with his mining abilities. And he went from 80 ascended to 84, almost 85, just killing stuff on the map. This weapon is basically stuck on him. I very, very rarely give him something different. He's always on 4 pieces tenacity, like this. I don't play him as a shield bot. The main reason is that, providing a little bit of damage is helpful. And other than that, I was fairly blessed with these 4 pieces from the tenacity set, getting them in probably less than 600 raising. I got them immediately. This allowed me to save a lot of raising that I would have otherwise spent in that domain, so that's it. No shield bot John Lee for me. No Constellation, talents are like this. Long term, I would like to level up this one to 9, possibly this one to 10, but we shall see. Because again, the cost does not really outweigh the benefits. Shao, I wish that I could play him a little bit more. I don't play him very much. He's not usually on Dragon's Bane. When I do play him, he has this, and he's 2 pieces Viridescent Vener, 2 pieces Shimenawa. I will have to guess that it's this one. Yeah, this one that right now is official should be the correct one. Yeah, this is his build. I think there is an artifact that I should switch around, but differences are minimal. Like this. Oh no, not the defense. It should be an attack. That's why the numbers were not quite what I remember. Yes, 77 to 26. Okay, that's better. Bloody Shimenawa. Have a nice Animo Goblet. 3 damage head. No Constellation. Talents are like this. 999. He's a very good character. Eula, yeah, as you can tell, I don't play her very much. The build is usually with Skyward Blade or Serpent Spine, 2 pieces, what are those names? This set, Bloodstained, and 2 pieces, Pale Flame. But I just hate the fact that her burst misses or does not hit anything all the time. At least when I play with her. It's a pity because I really like her design and I like her swinging the Claymore around, but the burst just is not for me. I have 1 Constellation, talents are like this. Maybe one day I will build her a bit better. Maybe. Chichi. I play her a lot, especially after the release of the Ocean Hue Clam set. Usually, not always, but usually I play her with Aquila Favonia or Sacrificial Sword. And always on 4 pieces Ocean Hue Clam with attack, healing bonus. Constellations are like this, talents are like this. Eventually this one will go to 9 as well, just it's a little bit expensive for what it is. And I really like her a lot. She's a very, very good on-field driver. Kaching, since I got the Mist Splitter Reforge, sometimes I let her see a little bit of action with her purple sword. I don't play her a lot, but she's a character that I do enjoy playing. When I do so, she will be on 2 pieces Shimenawa, 2 pieces Gladiator. I have a lot of Gladiator and Shimenawa pieces that I could give her. Maybe I should just make a video where I showcase all my artifacts, and it will make my life easier for everyone. She's the standard bearer character for whom I have a fewer amount of constellations. Everyone else has way more, but for some reason, Kachis doesn't want to show up too much. And she's like this. Mona recently got a new constellation for her, which was very nice. She's one of my most versatile, I don't know, characters. Sometimes she's with Trilling Tales, sometimes she's with Prototype Ember, sometimes she's with Lost Prayers. It really depends on her role in the team, what kind of team it is, and so on. So her stats will vary a lot depending on which weapon she's using. For a long time I used her with Emblem of Severed Fate, but I noticed that very often when I play her, she will be in teams that lack a Noblesse user. And so that's the story of Mona, being a Noblesse user for me. Pretty good stats, I'm very happy about her stats. That's a lot of energy recharge and crit rate, crit damage without considering any crit stat on his weapon. Constellation, I recently got this one, which was amazing for my Ayaka. Talents are like this. I would like to build her a little bit better, because considering that I have a good build for her, and I also have some good Heart of Depth pieces, I could actually level up her normal attacks and use her as an on-field pew-pew-pew character in some teams. Child, don't play him a lot. When I do play him, it's with Skyward Harp and 2 pieces Heart of Death, 2 pieces Shimenawa. Don't play him a lot though. I would get to go upgrade all of my Heart of Depth pieces to see if I can actually give him a 4-piece set that will perform better than a mixed 2 and 2. No Constellation. Talents are like this. I like him as a character, just the problem is that the team where he works the best is the team with Shanlin Bennett and Kazuha, and it's not a team that I enjoy using a lot. I much prefer other teams, so currently not playing him that much. Yomiya, she's definitely missing some stuff. Let me see what she's missing. She's definitely missing a Shimenawa, probably Vis or Vis. Let's start giving her Vis just for a moment, see what are her stats. No, these are not her stats. I play her quite often. Quite often. Unfortunately, the current Abyss rotation is not amazing for her, so she's currently slightly benched in favor of other characters. Best weapon for her out of all the weapons that I have is Rust. I don't have Thundering Pulse, and Rust performs roughly 15% better than Skyward Harp for her with my artifacts. She's always on for Shimenawa. Always for Shimenawa. And no Constellation. I would really like to get Constellation 2, because I really like her and this Constellation 2 is busted, but getting reruns in this period is not an option. 997. I think her burst is one of the worst things in the game, but a thing that I noticed is that, I don't know if maybe it's because of the teams that I play her, because even without any energy recharge, in teams where I usually have Yunjin and Fischl, which is how I often play Yomiya, her burst is always back by the end of her burst, meaning that I can use Shimenawa to get the bonus damage, and then she does pew 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 for the duration, which is, I don't know, 10, 12 seconds, whatever, and then by the time her burst is finished, I can just press the burst. By the time her elemental skill is finished, I can press the burst, and then the rest of the team can make it proc. So it's very difficult for me to evaluate her burst, because from a certain point of view it's awful, but it's basically always available in my teams. Diluc, I play him reasonably often. I wish I could play him a bit more, because he's a character that I find very enjoyable to play, but it's not always possible. It depends on the Abyss rotation. He loves being one of my characters because I keep getting his constellations non-stop. And I'm scared to death about getting his Constellation 6, because after that point, every other constellation that I get from him will not improve me, my characters at all. It will just be extra star, dust, glitter, whatever it is. He's a good character. I like him. In theory, I should give him Serpent Spine. In theory. But and it also looks pretty good on him. The problem is that then I need to worry about the stacks, and it makes me want to die in real life, so no. Sayo, I finally got Constellation 6. That was her biggest improvement since the last video I made about her. And recently I started to play her every now and then, even though she's only level 80. I did not level her up to 90 yet. I quite like her quite a bit with Favonius Greatsword. She can proc it reliably. She's always on 4 pieces Viridescent Venerer, so don't worry about what you are seeing here. But, you know, whoever has a piece available that I can give her will do so. And so she's usually Energy Recharge, Elemental Mastery, Crit Rate right now because I don't have many other options. Ideally, I would like Elemental Mastery everywhere, but at the moment I only have one full Elemental Mastery set, and good old Kazuha is using it. But she's a cool character. She's a very, very cool character. Then we go to Sacrosa. I don't play her as much as I should, because she's a very good character. I know this looks weird, but sometimes I run Abyss teams without any form of healing, and I enjoy using Prototype Ember. When I do play her, she is always on 4 Viridescent Venerer, Constellation 6, and her talents basically don't really matter. Weapon, she usually has this one, Sacrificial Fragments. When I'm doing the Artifact Fodder run on the map, I will give her this, Lost Prayer. If I'm doing an Abyss run and no one in the team provides healing, I will give her this one. Rosario. Really like my Rosaria. Weapon, 2 options. One is Deathmatch, one is Favonius Lance. And depending on what she's using, I will have to arrange to rearrange her artifacts a little bit. But her build is pretty okay. High crit rate, decent crit damage, provides good damage output. Here she's on 5 pieces Shimenawa, which I'm 5 pieces Emblem of Severed Fate, which I'm 100% sure it's not ideal for her. But I did it on stream 1 or 2 days ago, and I didn't want to spend time wondering, oh, which one I can improve by swapping to something else, oh my god, the stats. And so I was like, you know what, 5 pieces Severed Fate for you. But I would definitely need to run, what is it called, Genshin Optimizer to find out an ideal combination for her that doesn't steal important pieces from other characters. Constellation 6, talents are like this. I want to bring her to 699 eventually. Just, you know, leveling up talents once you reach a certain point is extremely expensive. Diona, I recently leveled her up a bit. She's now at 80. She's always on 4 pieces Noblesse. She's always on triple hit points with a ton of energy recharge. This piece for her is absolutely amazing. I love it. Very valuable character. Constellation 6. She's like this. I'm planning to ascend her in the near future. There is a chance that 2.7 and 2.8 for me will be patches where I don't pull for any new character, and I will invest some of my raising ascending characters and leveling up their talents. Chongers. I really, really like Chongers. His weapon is usually Lithic Blade or Skyward Pride. Lithic Blade is because sometimes I play him in teams with Shen, Shinchu and Chichi. And those are 4 characters all from Liyue, forming a nice freeze team. Freeze Shatter team, actually. And if you have 4 characters from Liyue, Lithic Blades are absolutely busted. And it also looks pretty cool on him. Pretty cool. And this one for him, just because extra energy recharge, I like it. Everything here is good for him. So, why not? Artifact, he is usually on 4 pieces Emblem of Severed Fate. Again, I give him whatever I have available at the time of writing, so to speak. And usually his stats look much better than him. It can be something 60-something, 150, or even 200 if I give him the proper pieces, but right now he doesn't have them. He should have crit damage here, like, I don't know, this piece. Again, it depends on what pieces I have available. I really have too many. to choose from Emblem of Severed Fate. So it's difficult to give you a build for each specific character when they actually change depending on what team it is, what pieces I have available, and so on. Constellation 6, talents are like this, 9, 8, 8, eventually will go at 9, 9, 9. Very cool character. Sarah, recently I don't play her a lot actually, to be quite honestly frankly with you. The reason being that she's usually the character that I use. Well, don't worry about her artifacts. When I do play her, she's in a team with Raiden, Bennett, Kazuha, and then she's in the last spot, using Elegy for the end, and sometimes 4 pieces Emblem of Severed Fate, or 4 pieces Noblesse. Again, depends on what available. Constellation 6 and talent. The reason why recently I don't play her too much is that I noticed that if in the last slot I put Mona, the team works incredibly well in terms of rotation and available bursts, and the damage output is pretty much the same, if not even better. Especially now that Mona provides an extra 15% crit rate for Raiden when you switch to Raiden. So what happens is Mona applies the Omen, plus she can give Thrilling Tales bonus to Raiden, plus there is an extra 15% crit rate for Raiden. And that becomes a lot of stuff. And this is okay, just not as good. Fischl. Fischl, this is not exactly how I play her. Usually her stats look a little bit better, more like 64, 200 something. She's on Skyward Harp. I leveled up my second Skyward Harp this week. Oh, that's why. You little piece of garbage. I'm missing one Shimenawa piece. Probably a hat, let me guess. Maybe. Possibly. What do you have? Crit damage here? Crit damage here? No. So you're missing a Shimenawa piece. It should be this one. No. I find it weird because there was a very long time during which I did not touch her artifacts. Oh, maybe it was this one. Let me check. Maybe. Possibly. I'm not sure. Again, too many artifacts. I really have too many artifacts. Maybe at the end of the video I will show you how many leveled up artifacts I have, and then you will understand why I struggle to remember. MiHoYo, give us those fucking loadouts. You absolutely incompetent troglodytes. Every game in the universe, even the indie games programmed by guys who don't even know how to program, I only use presets from other games, they have loadouts for their things. Jesus Christ. Sorry, I had a slight stroke there. Beidou, my Beidou is built reasonably well. She's usually using Serpent Spine, 4 pieces Emblem of Severed Fate, and whatever Electro Goblet I have available at the time. Right now I don't have a goblet available, so I'm sorry, Beidou. But I don't usually play all the Electro characters, so she could get this one. This one is probably better for her. It actually looks pretty sweet. Or I could give her this, or I could give her this. This one is absolutely insane, by the way. So her stats always look roughly like this, more or less. I play her a bit, not as much as I would like to, because the teams where she performs really well are not my favorites, but I often play her with Chi-Chi, Rosaria, and Fischl. In a Super Conduct team that in theory makes no sense, but works extremely well with all the off-field damage dealers. Now let's move to Shinchu. His stats look like this, and you may be thinking, oh my god, but there is a trick. And it's this one. Reason being that in most teams where I play Shinchu, he can get his burst back just by using the elemental skill once. So what happens is that Shinchu wastes less time being on the field because it doesn't need to do the animation of the second elemental skill, and his swords deal a ton of damage. We're talking about 30% more damage for me, for my build. 4 pieces Emblem of Severed Fate like this. Luckily I had a pretty decent Hydro Goblet, meaning that I can use a decent offset hat. Constellation 6, talents are like this. Basically, every other patch I'm tempted to level up this one to 9 and to crown this one, but the cost is pretty prohibitive. Let's move to Yanfei. Yanfei, I always play her... When I do play her as an on-field carry, I play her with Lost Prayers, and then I will give her 4 pieces? What's a piece? You see, these 4 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever goblet, pyro goblet I have available at the time. She's a very, very good character. Problem is that I really have so many pyro carries that it's difficult to also want to play Yanfei. But she's a very comfortable character to play. I really, really like her. Then who do we have? Oh, Shanling. I built her a little bit better recently, says the guy who only has her on 2 artifacts, but honestly I don't play her that much. When I do play her, she's on 4 pieces Emblem of Severed Fate, plus whatever goblet I can give her. Constellation 6, talents are like this. As you can see, I'm not one of the biggest Shanli's believer in the world, who are like 10, 10, 10, and whatever. No, I play her maybe once a month, so that's it for me. I grind a lot. I don't play the main character at the moment. Let's see what happens with the intro. Toma is the worst character in the game, and I regret spending Raisin to level him up. Luckily, I didn't really spend Raisin in artifacts, because it was all stuff that I had, and I just used a little bit of resources leveling up things for him, but very underwhelming kit. It's a pity because his animations are some of the best in the game. A real pity. Some people say that with the V's at Constellation 6, he actually becomes a decent choice for Hu Tao. We shall see. We shall see. I don't know. Because at the moment, my pyro character of choice for the team, at least those that I'm planning to build, would be Ember with Elegy. I really doubt that Toma with this thing would be better than the buff that Elegy provides for Hu Tao, but we shall see. Doggy Boy, I play him very often, but... and by the way, he's always on Favonius, he's always on 4 pieces Noblesse, but I think I gave one of the artifacts to someone else while I was showing them earlier, so let's just give him a random piece of garbage. There you go. So he's always on 4 pieces Noblesse. I would like to building a little bit better, because eventually I will get 4, 5, and 6. I mean, it has to happen eventually. But the problem is that all his buffs are fixed. They don't depend on his level, they don't depend on stats. So, basically, I don't feel particularly compelled about investing resin into going to kill this dude to level him up, and then nothing changes. The only way to actually improve the buffs that he provides to the team would be to have higher constellations, and these for the healing, these for whatever, and these for the geo damage, crit damage bonus. So we have to wait, and once I get his last constellations, I will build him better, because I use him all the time when I'm playing geo characters. And moving on to my last characters, not built, but eventually I will, to play him with Shanling and Sayu. Not built, don't really like him. Not built, but I may potentially be interested in building her once I get this last constellation. Don't like her. I kinda like her. I mean, she's a lovely character. Eventually, I will give her a build with, Elegy, and we just need to wait for this. It will be very, very sweet for Hu Tao, but we shall see. So, these were all my builds updated to the 17th of May 2022. Next build video will probably be 1 or 2 months from now, so every time that I make an Abyss Clear video or a character showcase or anything, I will link to this video, so you have an idea of my characters. As I was saying earlier, I will give you a very, very brief look at, well, we can go from here, at all my artifacts. I have way too many, leveled up all at 20. I will clear them one by one, and some are a little bit questionable. some are good as backups, some are good as third choices, some are good for characters that I don't really use right now, but potentially in the future I may be using. So I don't want to throw them away, because getting decent artifacts in this game is so difficult that when you get one that has some potential, it's difficult to throw it away. This one I want to finish leveling it up. Let's go to the plumes. Yeah, I really have a lot of artifacts. It's going to take a while. I think when you see something that really activates your armor, you can stop for a moment. Maybe you'll tell me, Sir Granddad, why are you not playing that? And I have an unused artifact that has like 45 crit value. And I would say, because I forgot about it. Because that's usually what happens, by the way. I just swap things around a bit and then I forget about them, and that's what happens. Like, for example, no one uses this set, but this is perfect. It rolled perfectly, so I'm not throwing it away, because every now and then I have a character who has an on-set goblet, and I will give him a nice offset piece. Now, let's go on. Here are all the sands that I have leveled up to 20 over the course of decades and decades and decades. And by decades, I mean a year and a half, basically. I have a lot of artifacts that are a little bit questionable. But, you know, every now and then, maybe once every 2 weeks or so, after I get some new stuff, I will make a little bit of selection and say, well, okay, this is the best one from that set. This is the number 2. Do I really need a number 3 and 4 that have the exact same stats but a little bit lower? Okay, let's recycle number 4. Now let's go to the goblets. I'm currently not using this one, not because I'm going insane, but because just right now, the electro goblet that I recently gave to Raiden is better than this for Raiden. So this for Raiden is better, because, you know, crit stats and a bit of energy recharge, a lot of crit rate, this is perfect for my Raiden. I used to have this for a while. But damage-wise, the average damage output, the other one with lower crit damage but higher crit rate is better. So currently no one is using that monstrosity with 40 crit damage and crit rate, but I will have to give it to... what's her name? Chi-Chi eventually. Or, you know, sometimes I have characters who can use, even though they deal elemental damage, if an attack goblet is absolutely insane, they can use it. There are some situations in which this goblet for my Ayaka is better than what I'm using for her. Because, well, the crit stats are alright. They're pretty good. We're looking at basically 37 crit value. And it also allows her to use an offset piece. But we're still working on that. The science has not been settled on that. Now let's move on to the heads. And then the video will be done. My god, I have so many. This is embarrassing. See, like, for example, this domain, the Pale Flame, I barely touched it. Because as I was saying earlier, in less than 600 resin, I got a good set for Geodaddy. So, considering that I don't play Eula that often, after I got 2 decent pieces for her, one is the Sands, and one is usually this one for her, I was done. That was it. No more Pale Flame farming for me. But it also means that if in the future I need to swap things around a bit or whatever, I prefer to have 2 pieces available. Noblesse, I have a ton, and it makes no sense, but, you know, it's a good general use piece. A lot of Blizzard straight trash, and here we go in the unleveled and uncharted regions of my artifact storage. So that was all. I will probably be streaming maybe tomorrow, but more likely Thursday. Very busy week with work, unfortunately. So I'll be checking out. See you next time, and take care, guys. Take care.